It's Murder Time, Fun Time with Professor Genki. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to draw our favorite pink cat from Saints Row the Third. So for today's drawing tutorial, all you need today is a pencil and a simple pencil sharpener. Let's get started, gamers. Now, we're going to make him in a pose where he has his hands up to his head in a very maniacal pose. So, we're starting out with the feet. Just make basic ovalish shapes for his feet. We're going to start out with a rough sketch, and then we're going to progress and advance, add some more detailing. Now, what I want you to do is make the pants legs, which nothing too complicated about them. Now, if you have any rough sketch lines, don't worry, those will be soon erased as we get to shaping Professor Genki and his clothing. Now, I want you to make an ovalish bean for his lab coat. And I want you to also make the arms in a V shape. Now, Professor Genki, if you haven't seen him before, Professor Genki's head is really big. He resembles, to me, a big bobblehead, but it's actually just a mask. And right there, just make simple little oven mitts for the hands, and for the tail, just make a soft little S shape for the nice little cat tail right there. Of course, if you have any rough lines in the cattail, you want to erase them. And then, for Genki's mask, or hat, or head, if you will, it is a simple football shape. So just make a rough football shape right there, and just make triangle-like shapes for his ear. So like a cartoony cat face. Think of it like that. Now, those little lines that I'm making, those are indicators for his smiling, creepy mouth. He has a tooth smile that we will soon flesh out. And for his glasses, just make two really big circles on both ends of the face right there. Now in the middle, you don't really have to flesh out too much. Like I said, this is a rough sketch, so don't have to add in too much detail. All you need to do is just make a basic peripheral for what is to come further in the drawing. And there's a nice little overview of the sketch right there. You can pause any moment. And here's where we actually work on the drawing, adding in details. For Genki's 2 feet are just 3 simple little toenails right there. Now onto the folds on his pants. This is where we're going to work on the pants. So just make simple folds, you know. The folds basically are just roundish lines that you need to make up and down. Not too many. There's not really too many folds in his pants. You want to really pay attention to the articles of clothing, because the articles of clothing, even on simple video game characters like this, have a lot of wrinkles and a lot of detailing in them. Now on to his nice little iconic lab coat. We are not finished with the pants yet. We need to make the upper section of the pants and the belt, but we'll continue on the lab coat right there. Now that line I just made, that's the belt that you need to make. And basically we're touching up and finishing up on the pants section right there. So that's pretty much it on the pants. And right there I'm making the tie, so just make a simple little bow tie. So, Professor Genki pretty much consists of very simple shapes, nothing too complex about it, but some sections for beginning drawers, I guess, would be very complicated because of the wrinkles, but it's not really that too hard to adapt right there. But on the right side of Professor Genki's lab coat, you want to make a big pocket with 2 little test tubes. The first one's going to be smaller than the big one. And here we're going to actually make the collars of his little lab coat right there. So pretty much basic pyramid-like shapes on the sides, on the opening of the lab coat. And right there we're going to put the folds and little wrinkles on the tie that he has right there. And on the stripes, you want to make on the end, on the beginning of the tail, and on the end of the tail, the biggest spots on there, and then you're just going to progress, and as you get further in the tail, the stripes get a little smaller, and then they get a little bit much bigger going up to the end. But really, the size of the stripes doesn't really matter, but if you want to be accurate to the actual picture, then go ahead, follow what I tell you. Now, for the lab coat on his arms, you want to make more folds and wrinkles, which are just basic round lines going across his lab coat. And now here we're actually going to shape in the hands. So the oven mitts that we just made right there, our small little oven mitts, we're going to flesh out actual fingers right there. So make them a little bit more sharper. They don't have to be really like actual photorealistic. Just make little comic book like fingers. What is Genki? Is Genki a human or a cat or a humanoid cat thing from another planet? Not really sure. It looks like some kind of costume, but I don't know where that tail came from. I don't know if it's a part of the outfit. But hey, if you are interested in that little question, go ahead and answer it down in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you thought about it, and also about the actual game. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Comment that in the comments list below. I would love to hear your opinion. And of course, you want to give the same attention to the left arm right there, with the same wrinkles and folding right there. And of course, you also want to shapen out that little oven mitt. It's not going to be an oven mitt anymore. Shapen out nice, crisp fingers. And also, for the palms of the hands, they're just roundish lines that you need to just form. And if you have a problem making humanoid hands, just look at your own hands. So yeah, that's could be a good little source image yourself. You know, you can use yourself as a model, or someone else. Granted, if you have those things. Now, this is where we make the mouth. The tooth mouth is actually a upside down pyramid if you look at an upside down angle. And Genki will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teeth. 5 big teeth. And this is where you can see our crazy cat is forming right there. You also want to make a nice little upside down triangle nose right there. So his head actually, his face, actually has a lot of basic rectangular shapes, which is kind of unique. There's not much, but hey, that's kind of cool. It's using basic symmetry right there for his face. And basically, you just want to make long whiskers. Of course, he is a cat. Cat has have his whiskers, even if it is a costume. And this is where we're going to work on the eyes, or the glasses. The glasses, all you really need to do is just darken them around. So if you have rough lines when you're making those little basic simple circles, don't worry, just go ahead and overcast them with a nice dark shading, and this is going to be the outline of the glasses. And you want to, for extra detail, you want to make some little circles for the shining, reflecting off the glass on his little glasses right there, and make just a roundish line for his eyeball right there. Make a cat-like pupil. And the same treatment will apply to the other eye or glass as well. Now, in the middle right there, as you can see, there's like a little band-aid kind of thing right there. A band-aid holding the glasses together as if they were broken. And right there, you want to make the little stripes on the top of his head. And also, those little stripes also can apply inside his ears. Just make little stripes right there. Little triangular shapes. One will be smaller than the other one. And right here is just a quick little overview of how I shaded it. Now, I've done a drawing like this before, but I actually colored it, so I did not go with the lead, of course. I actually went ahead and had colored pencils. Now, if you're using colored pencils, Genki the cat is perfect if you want to color your drawing with colored pencils. It is perfect for that. It actually will come out really great. The first one I did, it was okay, and the coloring was good, but this one has to be the better one that I have done so far because, yeah, I don't know, it just provokes much more detail, and I think it's just much better than my last rendition of the drawing. Wish I had it to show you guys, but I really don't. But if you're planning to actually color this cat, if you have the supplies, the colored pencil supplies, go ahead and do that. It's going to look great. Just observe the actual picture, the actual picture from whatever search engine you got, or if you have an actual physical photo with you, that can be a good reference as well. But onto the actual shading, you want to make sure, since Genki has that really big cat head, you want to make sure that he is overcasting his shoulders, so make a big old shadow right there. Now for the middle of his eyes, you want to make a big old dark pool in the middle right there, as I'm doing, around the cat pupils and around the eyes. You don't want to completely darken that. Now this is if you're going for a lead textured kind of shading. You want to keep the coat shirt white, of course, and then you want to keep the little lab coat a grayish, and to actually blend in with the other shading, I just went ahead and took my finger and rubbed a little bit of lead and rubbed it on the lab coat. The rubbing technique is pretty good, in my opinion. I applied that to the pants. You can apply that to a shirt if you want, and I also applied it to some segments of Genki's skin, as like his tail. And once you actually shade the drawing, some of those sharp lines that you did before might smudge and you might not see them too well. All you need to do is just go back, darken them in, make them more crisp, and there you go. Now that last little part I did right there is not it's not required, but I just made a nice little circle of shading, you know. That also applies to Genki's head overcasting. So you might, if you want to add in that extra detail and effort, go ahead and make that pull a little round circle of shading right there on his feet. So guys, Professor Genki, that pretty much wraps this video. So I'm adding much more variety to my YouTube channel, so I hope you guys enjoy that. If you want more drawing tutorials, of course, rate, share this with your friends and family, and most importantly, subscribe if you want. If you think my content is worth tuning into, then awesome. Go ahead and subscribe so you can catch up on my videos. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So what do you think about Saints Row 4? And what do you think about the Gat Out of Hell DLC? I thought it was actually going to be a game, but it's an actual DLC for Saints Row 4. Saints Row 4 is now on the Xbox One and PS4, and it comes with all the little micro DLCs, and it comes with the story mission DLC as well, which I thought was a nice little thing. But hopefully the not GTA 5, but hopefully Saints Row 5, if they do make a Saints Row 5, it'll go back to their gangster old style roots, because I'm a new school fan of Saints Row, and I'd like to get back to that nice old school feeling of the gangsta of Saints Row. Well guys, that's it. Have a nice ethical reality climax.